Hey, this is Jeff from Oregonplex, and today I want to talk to you about why it's so important to leave a vacant unit in a 2, 3, or 4 unit property in Oregon when you sell it. I'm standing here in one of my listings. This is, in fact, a property that I own, that I bought as a triplex investor and am selling now. And one of the reasons why it's so important to leave a unit vacant, as we've done in this particular property for sale, is that it gives buyers a chance to do a showing. Now, if we think about the kind of buyer that we normally find, who's normally interested in a 2, 3, and 4 unit property, they're the kind of buyer who wants to see something in person. Because in many ways, a 2, 3, four-plex buyer is not terribly different than a single home family buyer. They're not a big institutional buyer where they're just going to make a bunch of offers on spreadsheets and things like that. They want to see things. And that is a really, really important thing that having a vacant unit can do. But there's actually more reasons why it's so helpful as well. A lot of today's buyers, especially in an area like Portland, where housing prices are pretty high and affordability is challenging, a lot of buyers are going to be buying a Plex property for themselves to actually live in one of the units. Now, this is a version of what a lot of real estate investors call house hacking, where you buy a house and live in one room and rent out the other rooms to your roommates to have income. Well, you can do the same thing with a Plex. You buy a triplex like this one, you live in one unit, and you then rent out the other 2 units to create income to help you qualify for the mortgage. And this becomes a great way for somebody to be able to buy a property to live in and qualify for something that's bigger of a loan and higher of a cost than they would be able to if they were just buying a single family home that doesn't generate any income. Having a vacant unit so that a buyer has the option to move in to the unit also creates an advantage for them when it comes to conventional financing. The great thing about a 2, 3, and 4 unit property is that their financing options are the same actually as a 1 unit single family home. But in this particular case, when you are owner occupying a Plex, then you also have the ability to get the better loans that correlate with owner occupancy versus an investment property. And so when we leave a unit open for a potential buyer to move into, that also means that we avail to them the best possible financing at the best interest rates, which just first makes it possible for them, creates more potential buyers for us. And the lower interest rates that come with owner occupancy also mean they can afford a higher price, which you as a seller definitely want. Last but definitely not least is that when we leave a unit vacant, we can stage that unit. Now, staging to some people just sounds like, oh, it's not really necessary. The property is going to sell itself, isn't it all about the numbers? But staging makes something feel homey. And this is important in 2 ways. First is when they see the property online, which is how almost everybody is going to see the property for the first time. The photos look inviting and the photos look aspirational. A lot of times staging furniture is frankly nicer than, better looking, more stylish than a lot of the real life furniture that somebody will bring. So it allows them to see something, a space that they aspire to have, something that actually looks that nice. But the other thing that staging does is it makes rooms feel different when people walk through. So it's not just about the photos online. If it was just about the photos online, you could do virtual staging and then they would show up to a vacant unit. But when they show up and they see how the space is laid out, it gives them a realistic idea of what the space would be like to live in. Sometimes staging can be a great way to make an awkward space feel less so. In this particular unit, we don't have that problem, but it makes it already feel like a home, which allows the buyer to help themselves see themselves in the unit as soon as they walk through. Having a unit vacant at the time of sale does take a little bit of planning, especially in Oregon. One does not simply remove a tenant. There's a whole process involved with that, and it takes a little time, it takes a little planning. So this is one of the reasons why if you are considering selling your 2, 3, or 4 unit property, your duplex, triplex, four-plex, call me earlier, err on the side of earlier, because the more time we have to plan, the better we can execute all of the right steps that are going to make your property as prepared and attractive for the sales process as